Hello, today we read Joshua chapter 11. In chapter 10 it was about Joshua and Israel had victory after victory, and God was with them. Now let's see what's next in the chapter 11. When Jabin, king of Hazor, heard this, he sent word to Jobab, king of Madon. So Hazor and Madon. To the kings of Shimron and Akshaph, and to the northern kings who were in the mountains, in the Arabas, south of Kinneret, the western foothills, and in Naphtdor. A common enemy unites together the people. On the west to the Canaanites, in the east and west. So south, west and east. To the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites and Jebusites in the hill country. And to the Hivites below Hermon in the region of Mizpah. They came out with all their troops, and a large number of horses and chariots, a huge army, as numerous as the sand on the seashore. Wow. All these kings joined forces and made camp together at the waters of Merom. To fight against Israel. The Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of them, because by this time tomorrow I will hand all of them over to Israel, slain. You are to hamstring their horses and burn their chariots." So Joshua and his whole army came against them suddenly at the waters of Merom and attacked them. And the Lord gave them into the hand of Israel. They defeated them and pursued them all the way to Greater Sidon, to Misrephoth-Maim. Greater Sidon. And to the valley of Mizpah. On the east. Until no survivors were left, Joshua did to them as the Lord had directed. He hamstrung their horses and burned their chariots. At that time Joshua turned back and captured Hazor and put its king to the sword. Hathor had been the head of all these kingdoms. Everyone in it they put to the sword. They totally destroyed them, no sparing anything that breathed, and he burned up Hathor itself. Joshua took all these royal cities and their kings and put them to the sword. He totally destroyed them, as Moses the servant of the Lord had commanded. Yet Israel did not burn any of the city built on their mounds except Hathor, which Joshua burned. The Israelites carried off for themselves all the plunder and livestock of these cities, but all the people they put to the sword until they completely destroyed them, not sparing anyone that breathed. As the Lord commanded his servant Moses, so Moses commanded Joshua, and Joshua did it. He left nothing undone of all that the Lord commanded Moses. Wow. He left nothing undone of all that the Lord commanded Moses. So, how could he do that if not looking maybe every time to never forget anything that the Lord commanded to Moses? That means to listen to the Lord, to the God, is to listen to Him with everything He says, exactly as He says, and may the God help us to do that. If we don't understand some things, we can ask God, but we must trust Him. That even if He says something maybe that you don't know why, trust God that He is doing the best, that He showed you to do what's the best for you. So Joshua took this entire land, the hill country, all the Negev, the whole region of Goshen, the western foothills, the Arabah, and the mountains of Israel with their foothills, from Mount Halak, which rise toward Seir, to Baal Gad in the valley of Lebanon, below Mount Hermon. He captured all their kings and struck them down, putting them to death. So from Mount Halak. Putting them to death. Joshua waged war. He captured all their kings and struck them down, putting them to death. Joshua waged war against all these kings for a long time, except for the Hivites living in Gibeon. Not one city made a treaty of peace with the Israelites, who took them all in battle. For it was the Lord Himself who hardened their hearts to wage war against Israel, so that He might destroy them totally, exterminating them without mercy, as the Lord had commanded Moses. At that time Joshua went and destroyed the Anakites from the hill country, from Hebron, Debir, and Anab. Hebron, Debir, Anab. From all the hill country of Judah and from all the hill country of Israel, Joshua totally destroyed them and their towns. No Anakites were left in Israeli territory, only in Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod. We will see that from Gath it will come in the future the Goliath. And Ashdod did any survive. So Joshua took the entire land, just as the Lord had directed Moses, and he gave it as an inheritance to Israel according to their tribal divisions. Then the land had rest from war. Wow. What was the recipe of success or the way of success? It was listening to God, listen to God without exception. Trust Him and be holy. Do not do anything that could lead you to destruction, like doing some sins, or like we saw on with the Achan sin. Okay, that was the chapter. And for listening to God, it means that you must but His words, always never leave His words from your side. I mean, you must look in the Bible and read it daily and study it, and never leave the Bible from your side. And that may lead you to, if you not just read, if you do it in your life, I mean, you're listening to the God's word, God's words, that's the way of life, the way of the best. Okay, that was the chapter. May the God bless me, protect me, and delight me in the next chapter too. And if He wants, you will see me there too. God bless you all, and goodbye.